Hi guys, how we doing? So, every video that I have done, I've been sitting in this chair. She's an old chair. Was actually left in the house when we moved in. I did some basic repairs on it and painted it up the way you see it. Obviously, I did a little bit of a lazy job on it. I just needed something to sit on. She had a bit of a catastrophic failure. I've done some of the work of putting her back together already. This piece had broken loose, and you cannot see what this piece is. This piece up here had broken loose and was just separated out completely. And a couple of these down here also were. But the main problem you can see really, really quick and easy is the huge brake that runs the entire seat. Now, thankfully, I was able to borrow a chair out of the kitchen. So I have temporary seating back here, but this is not going to be a good permanent solution because I need my kitchen chairs in my kitchen. So we got to get this guy put back together. And in order to put this guy back together, I'm actually going to have to do the hard thing and separate him a little bit. So I'm going cheap and easy because the next time this chair breaks, I will probably just replace it. And I'm going in with a line of wood filler. And we're also going to do a coat of wood filler on the bottom and the top once this has dried and I've sanded it down a bit. But we're going to start like this, and we're going to squish it all the way down in there. Yes, I'm using an old butter knife. If we have not learned by now, I don't use things for what they're supposed to be used for. And if something is supposed to be used for a specific thing, there's a really good chance I don't have it. And yes, I could probably borrow one of my boyfriends. He's really good about that stuff. But, I don't know, I just enjoy doing oddball things in oddball ways. I think it's fun. And it fits who I am as a person. Because I am not your typical much of anything. So the initial set is probably going to take, I like to let anything set for a full 24 hours. But we're not going to stop just right here. I'm going to figure out how to flip her over without undoing everything I just did, because we do want that to run the full length of the crack, and it's gonna squish everywhere when I pull it closed, but that's okay. We're gonna make messes. We like messes. Messes are fun. And I'll probably pop a short up here in a little bit. I did actually go ahead and do a first coat of clear coat on my gazing ball so that I could go ahead and get it out. Even though it's not the high shine that I want, I did want something on there so that I didn't have to just see it sitting in the corner in here all summer long. Going to push about halfway through. And I am so very excited to get started properly on the watering can project. And I actually have I have a couple of very large tubs that I plant flowers in. Once we get done with the watering can itself, we're going to paint one of those tubs up so that the watering can has something to be pouring into. And it's going to be a whole thing. I don't know what my birds are yelling at. They've been so good all day. So of course they have to misbehave a little bit, right? So let's see if I make an absolute mess or if we can make this work. Because I don't need her pinching my backside every time I try to sit. So I think we're going to set her this way so that she's not laying flat. And that is just simply so that I can get this on there. She's going to dry standing up properly, but I want to be able to work with her in a way that let's make messes. Messes are fun, right? This is just me trying to make sure that that goes as far into that crack as we can possibly get it. I put it pretty deep on the other side, but we don't want this crack hanging out all the way across. And yes, I have once again moved towards just use my fingers because it's a little bit easier at this angle. But hands wash. I always end up with some kind of oddball stuff on my hands when I'm working out here, so why should today be any different? That piece was not being very cooperative, was it? And yes, the little bits are trying to dry on me already. I'm not sure why, but we're not going to complain because faster drying is not always a bad thing. So what we're going to do now, first I'm going to wipe some of this off my hands. Pardon me, I'm just getting my hands to where they can actually move. I think we're going to put her back upside down. After, let's just smooth this a little bit. And once again, we're not worrying about the fact that it's leaving a little bit on there, because we are going to be going over the whole thing with just a little coating of this, just to keep her nice and together. I have definitely done my time working with wood filler in the past. It's a chemical product, whatever you want to call it, that I'm actually pretty comfortable with. I do apologize for whacking you guys with the chair. Let's make sure we didn't do any damage here. No, just knocked you off balance a little bit. So now, what we're going to do is pull this nice and tight together, like that. And make a mess, because we love messes. Now, I'm going to borrow a little bit of that. because it's easier to disengage that than it is to get these guys back together. And I'm going to pretend that the amount of work I just did to get my hand around that didn't happen. And this is just holding it in place so that it dries correctly. And I think we're going to stand her up right on the table to do the other side. Thankfully, she is a small chair. Will she fit? Kinda, sorta, but not really. But we can work with that. She's gonna come back down on the floor here in just a minute. Ooh, okay. She's gonna come back down on the floor now. We're gonna set her down. Scooch my table a little bit here. Bring her over. And save you guys from looking at my cabinet there. Tighten this up so that it doesn't go flying. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. And you can kind of see it has already kind of filled that hole, that crack in. And what I'm doing right now is just smoothing it a little bit before I add my second clamp. Basically, I'm tired of my chair I'm not wanting to take chances of my chair falling apart again. So, we're going to just make that crack no longer exist. It's not the prettiest option, but it is very effective. I've used this method on a lot of different things, actually. And hopefully tomorrow it'll be pretty solid and we'll be able to come in and get it sanded. And then we'll put a thin layer over the whole thing just to kind of solidify her up a little bit. And then probably Wednesday we'll get her primered and maybe start painting on her. Actually, as smooth as she and this is how much is actually coming out from underneath. So we're just gonna steal a little of that, smooth it in under there. She's not quite fully solid yet. She's definitely moving a lot less than she was when we started. And when we come in tomorrow, she's probably going to be a lot smoother than still. But now my hands are a mess. And we've gotten what we can do today taken care of. So we're going to go ahead and stop there. And we'll be back tomorrow for the next step. We'll see if she needs another coat or if she's pretty solid. If she's solid, we'll go ahead and start painting on her. If she's not, we'll go ahead and add another layer of the wood filler. So hopefully she'll be ready to go tomorrow. But until then, we'll talk to you guys next time.